Howdy folks, and welcome back to Connor Reads Books. If you're a Connor Reads Books head, you might be wondering, where's Connor been, and why isn't he reading us books? Well, here's the thing, friendos. I have been blessedly tied up with some audiobook gigs and really fun projects that have kept me from providing you with, more episodes of this podcast this year. And, sometimes that's how it goes, but I'm really excited to be back. And today we are going to talk a little bit about those books that I have done, the books that I'm doing, and we're also going to talk about the plan for Connor Reads Books in the coming months, year, and that'll kind of be the episode. So, one, I just want to say thank you so much for stopping by. I know it's been some number of months since I've put something forth, and I really appreciate you coming back and checking in on me and what I'm up to. So, without any further ado, let's crack into this episode. So, the books I'm doing / the books I've done. Let's start with this really big project that I am excited to share with you all. This is called The Rise of the Flint Pirates. It is the Black Sun Saga, Book 1. It's written by Daniel Crux. It is published by Inkwell Books, and it is a really awesome sci-fi space opera about two brothers, the sons of an infamous pirate queen. The story really begins when these two brothers meet with a scion, a very powerful telepath, who offers them the job of a lifetime. It is part heist, part treasure quest, and these two brothers, after decades of scratching a living out of this cold universe, take on this quest. Now, I don't want to give away too much, I'm very careful not to give away spoilers, but let me talk a little bit around this book as well. This book is really fun. This is the first full cast book I have been a part of and had the pleasure to produce as an audiobook. So this book is just an absolute blast. The cast does a fantastic job bringing this universe to life. I am the narrator for this book. I also had the pleasure of playing a bunch of little side characters, and also the pleasure of playing Howell Davis, who is a helmsman of ill repute. So like I said, I wanted to keep this relatively brief, and I don't want to give away too many spoilers. I do have links for the book in the episode notes, so please go check out the episode notes, click that link. It'll take you to Audible. You can listen to the sample. You can buy the book. We'd really appreciate that, that's for sure. It was a labor of love, and just a really good time. I'm really pleased with how it turned out. So please go check that out. It's a really good time. We had a ton of fun making it. The voice actors did a great job, and I think you will really enjoy the listen through. Now let's go to the next book that we have. All right, our next book is Warforged, written by R.C. Hanna. Warforged is a sci-fi LGBTQ+ romance story. Male romance, zero spice. If you're not familiar with these terms, read a book. Anyway, this is a very fun sci-fi romance, very heartfelt. Warforged is about a plucky starfighter pilot named Crash who ends up behind enemy lines and in enemy hands, only to find out how comforting and loving those enemy hands actually are. Again, I'm going to keep this woefully bereft, perhaps blessedly bereft, of any spoilers, because I really think y'all should listen to this book. It's fantastic. It's a very heartwarming romance for everyone, and I think it's really wonderful that RC, took some of their frustration in not seeing enough queer representation in sci-fi romance, which I totally get. And this, I think, really marries a lot of wonderful classic sci-fi themes just into a lovely romance story that is heartwarming and positive. This book is one that I have narrated solely on my own. It's a great story. I had so much fun embodying the characters. So again, the links are in the episode notes. Go ahead and check that out. And and give it a listen. I would appreciate it. And for some of you who do audiobook reviews, please contact me at my email. Again, it's in the episode notes. I have review codes available for Warforged, so shoot me an email and I can send you a review code And yeah, please listen and give your honest review of the book and my performance. It would be a huge help. Even better is if you just purchase the book and then review it. But that's up to you. I have codes available. Go ahead and check out Warforged as well. All right, now I'll move on to my next story. The next book I want to talk about is called Transfer Point, written by Shmuley Myers.
Hey folks, this is Connor, AE, after editing, or maybe DE, during editing. Either way, I made a mistake. I say that Transfer Point is written by Shmuley Myers. That is so incorrect. It is Transfer Point, a Shmuley Myers mystery written by Saul Sharp. Transfer Point was written by Saul Sharp. So that's one of the reasons why I need to have like a script in front of me when I do these things. But thank you for your patience, and back to the show.
Now, this book is going to have maybe some of the more content warnings, might have some content that would be harder for other listeners to listen to. And I'll explain a little bit why. This story is set in sort of a dystopian future / dystopian parallel world where a sect of hyper-religious fanatics have kind of taken over the law and the law of America and have constrained reproductive rights for all people in the United States. The story follows this character who works at a hospital who sort of helps with a sort of underground railroad for pregnant women who need to flee the country, who need to get abortions for one reason or another. And for some, this is a hot button issue, but for me, it ain't. Fucking pro-choice baby. So, anyway, I don't know if that's how I should end that one. So, Transfer Point may not be for all listeners, but again, I would really appreciate if you go check it out, listen, purchase. I do have some review codes for that as well for reviewers. So again, shoot me an email with your credentials, and I can send you a review code, and that would be very well appreciated. Now, let's talk about a book that I'm working on right now that I'm super excited for and should be out in the next couple of weeks, and I will definitely get you that information when it is coming out. So this next book is called Men of the Mountain, which is an awesome sci-fi fantasy mashup. The Men of the Mountain centers around this character named Cade, who is a trapper for a small community, a small village of people who call themselves the Wren. And Cade's life changes drastically when he witnesses a star fall from the sky. He goes to investigate this starfall and finds that there is an extraterrestrial inside this crater left behind from the falling star. And this sends forth a cascade of world-shaking events that change Cade's life and life for all good Wren in the land of Renia. Now, this is a very pared-down summary, and that's for a couple reasons. One, I don't want to give away any spoilers. Two, we're actually going to talk about this book more. So, I want to put a cap on the books I'm doing / books I have done, and I just want to say again, Rise of the Flint Pirates, Black Sun Saga Book 1, Warforged, and Transfer Point are all stories that I have completed this year that are available on Audible. There will be links in the episode notes, and if you do audiobook reviews, please send me a message and we'll figure out how we can get you a review code. Thank you very much for your interest, folks, and let's move on to the next segment of this show. So now let's pivot to the plan for Connor Reads Books in the coming months and year. I am so excited. I'm going to be conducting interviews with R.C. Hanna, the author of Warforged, and I'll be conducting interviews with Drew Harrison, the author of Men of the Mountain. So these interviews are going to be coming up, and I will have sample chapters that I will also post as episodes, definitely for Warforged. Still figuring out for Men of the Mountain. Should be a go, though. We just have a few more things to kind of hammer out, but definitely getting Drew in for an interview, getting RC in for an interview. So keep your ears peeled, and those interviews will be sliding by on this feed. So be sure to subscribe and like. Now let's pivot a little bit. So past some of these episodes, you know that I love to read short stories. I sometimes do originals and stuff like that. Well, I am so excited to announce to you that I have launched a Connor Reads Books short story submission page. So if you are an author who writes short stories, less than 4,000 words, predominantly in the horror, sci-fi, or fantasy sort of genres, please go ahead and check out the link in the episode notes. Submit your story for consideration to be read. There's going to be a lot more details on that page, so I'm not going to spend too much time talking about details here. Go ahead, click the link in the episode notes, and figure out how you can get your short story submitted to Connor Reads Books and performed by me and hopefully some other voice actors. So again, Connor Reads Books short story submission page now open. Please check it out. Submit your stories, get them turned into the audio medium. So let's talk about my next announcement, because some of you know, if you're, again, a Connor Reads Books head, you know that I love putting together full casts and music and SFX. And so this is my next announcement, that I'm also looking for voice talent. Now I know there's a ton of people out there, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you what I am looking for. Predominantly, I'm predominantly looking for feminine voices. I'm looking for people who can perform women characters. So the more feminine your voice, the more likely you will be to be cast for that. And if you also have a feminine voice, or are a woman, cisgendered or not, feminine voice, that's the big thing. You can be a convincing woman. I can't. Not well. I can do dudes pretty dang well. And I can do some women passively. But I need more. Anyway. And on top of that, depending on your qualifications, some of the work you've done, and really how we would interact in projects, I may actually have more work for you. This is where I'm going to pivot a little bit. I do audiobook production as well. So not only do I narrate and voice act characters, but I also take other actors' voices and I put them all together. So I don't know really where that's going, but just to say, I also make the dang books. So if you're someone who is oftentimes waiting for someone to say yes to an audition, submit to me and wait for me to say yes to an audition. How great. Oh, Lord. So, I think I said to wrap up and then ended up just blathering on. To anyone who is my friend or family, you know that's completely common. So, we're on track. I'm going to just put a few more bullet points for my sanity. Got some awesome interviews coming up. Got some fun short stories to share coming up. I have short story submissions open. If you're a writer, you do short stories, particularly in horror, sci-fi, fantasy, please submit your story and let's make it into some audio. I also want to say that just because you submit does not guarantee that your story will be turned into audio. Please have some patience with me as I review the writing. And again, I'm not gonna put too many details out here. Please go to the page if you want more details on that. Voice actors, actresses. I am looking to collaborate with more voice actors and actresses. Preference will be given to voice actresses, those who can do more feminine voices, have a more feminine vocal tone. So how you can submit to me is you can go into my episode notes, you can find my email and say voice actor submission, or voice actor audition. The more information you can give me on your voice acting, the better. So if you have a CV, if you've been on other programs or been in other books, this will be super duper helpful, but please don't be discouraged. Even if you're just kind of getting your feet, I'm happy to work with all sorts of talent. The things, we'll figure this out as we go on, but for now, go ahead and check that out. The last thing I have to say about Connor Reads Books, and maybe now this is where we're going to kind of wrap things up, and we're going to talk about my dreams for Connor Reads Books. So, what I want out of Connor Reads Books. Right now, Connor Reads Books functions kind of in my business as one, partially a passion project, two, a sort of rolling CV, showcasing the work that I do, showcasing my, editing and mixing abilities, my ability to put SFX together, kind of make, audio plays. I probably also said networking, but connecting with authors, writers, other voice actors, it's also for that. Connor Reads Books does not generate any revenue. And because of this, unfortunately, I do not offer to pay authors for their short stories, and I won't be able to pay voice actors at this moment. And so here's my dream. I want to start working on a Patreon because I believe that the arts and artists should be paid. I want to pay you. I really do. So I want to open up a Patreon, have a donate link, and I want to get to a point where Connor Reads Books can generate enough money to actually give back to the authors and to the voice actors who help make this possible. So that is something that I'm looking for. That is an intention. That's something I want to put out in the universe. But again, at this moment, it is more of a creative collaboration. You don't have to pay to get your short story turned into an audio story. So yeah, I think it's probably a little bit of a rough wrap up there. But thank you again so much for coming back in to Connor Reads Books, seeing what's up in my neck of the woods. And yeah, I hope that these announcements are exciting to you. They're exciting to me. I am really excited to connect with more voice actors, connect with more authors and publishers. So please don't hesitate to reach out. My links are in the episode notes. You can find me on my socials. I'm pretty I'm most active on Instagram, and I'm working on a TikTok. I don't really fuck with Facebook. So unfortunately, you'll have to find another way. The best way to get in contact with me is my email. So go ahead and check that out, because social media gives me anxiety. That's no fun. But anyway, I want to put one last set of bullet points on this episode. I've finished some awesome projects this year. Black Sun, Warforged, Transfer Point, awesome one coming out, Men of the Mountain. Links in the episode notes. Go ahead and check those out. It's going to be awesome. 2, the plan for Connor Reads Books. I have R.C. Hanna coming on. I have Drew Harrison coming on. And we're going to have some samples of the stories that they have written and that I've narrated. Super duper exciting. I'm also looking for short story submissions. Short story submissions are open. You're a short story writer? Submit your story, please. And I'm also looking for additional voice talent. So go ahead, check out my email, send me your information. Let's collaborate. Thank you so much for coming to Connor Reads Books. I am so excited to be back and to get this feed, churning out some more content for you, showing you some really awesome authors, showing you some really awesome stories, and providing you with some awesome radio type entertainment. So thank you again so much. And until next we turn the page, toodaloo. This has been Connor Reads Books. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you have, please share and leave a review. Feel free to check out my social medias at LConnorVoice. Links in the episode notes. A big thank you to Louis Sanders, the producer of the Connor Reads Books theme song. Until next we turn the page, toodaloo. I want to start by saying, ha. I want to start by saying, ha.